Yo, what up, everybody? So, let's see here. Alright, so today, super quick one. Just kind of wanted to touch on something real quick, and I was listening to this thing last night, and it's really good listen. It's about this doctor who basically got sick, then he kind of learned how to cure everybody with just like minerals, vitamins, rest, water, sunlight, all those kind of things we kind of harp on or whatever. And he's a really interesting guy, and I really like his take on everything. So I figured I'd post it. One thing that he touched on was Himalayan salt being toxic, which I know is something Dr. Wilson talks about as well. And I haven't really seen it anywhere else. Now, I haven't really looked for it aggressively either, so it might be more common than I realized, but I thought that was interesting. He also talks about like frequency machines and stuff, and I thought that was pretty cool. He has like a little website, you can check it out. Now, I'm not recommending any of this stuff outright, you definitely ask your practitioner or whatever, but the last part of the video was like literally like the last like 10 minutes or whatever. He talks about addiction, and he kind of talks about dopamine and serotonin, okay? And I was like, that's interesting. And basically what he was getting on is people who are addicted to things, they have bad dopamine receptors. So like whenever they like for the first time in their life like have a drink or whatever, like things are all filing and they're like, hey, I feel good for the first time in a long time, and they do it, and then but what happens over time is they get more and more numb to these things. So it's like 1 beer, then 2 beers, and then 10 beers, and then basically you can't really get that satisfaction anymore, right? But also what he said is that the reciprocal to dopamine is serotonin, and serotonin is like the happy juice that we all have, right? So whenever we're happy, like we're utilizing serotonin or whatever, right? So what he kind of said was like every time we get a dopamine hit, we kind of lose our serotonin or whatever, right? And I was like, well, that's wild, because I know, and I'm sure a lot of you guys know as well, like, you read about the executives at Facebook who invented the product. They basically designed it in a way to hack the human biosphere or whatever, right? Basically these dopamine feedback loops where, every time you got a notification, you get like a little hit, and even just the way that the refresh is like a slot machine, and that's on purpose. It kind of gives you like a little bit of a hit. And, every time our little phone goes off and goes bling, we all get like a little bit of a hit. And every time I get a like with a bling, you know what I mean? So it's like we're all getting these little dopamine hits over and over and over again, right? And I know I'm guilty of that kind of behavior as well. But he said, like, if you notice, we're all getting those dopamine hits, and what's the reciprocal of dopamine is that our serotonin's going down. So at the same time, like most people, most studies, most things you read on the internet, whatever, they're all saying like, well, we're the least happy we've ever been. And I was like, well, by golly, like never in any other time in the history of humanity that I know of have we been getting all these dopamine hits as well. So I was like, wow, there's got to be something to that or whatever, right? So I thought it was cool, thought it was interesting. I will post the link below. It's about an hour long, and yeah, we'll get that rolling or whatever. But other than that, I'll keep it quick. My friends were doing this thing. It's called the 100-day push-up challenge. So you're supposed to do like 100 push-ups a day or whatever. These are like my muggle friends or whatever, and I was like, man, I've been kind of looking for something, like, I kind of told y'all this before, like that activity thing, and I kind of tried a little bit of things, but nothing really stuck. But I was like, you know what, this is simple enough, and I got accountability buddies that are doing it as well. I was like, I might do it as well. It's pretty easy. Like in theory, you could do 5 push-ups an hour and still hit your allocation, so you don't ever have to strain yourself. It's kind of like up to your discretion how much you want to push it or whatever, right? So anyway, I did that this morning. I knocked out about 50 of them, sets of 10 throughout my morning routine, and I feel good. I got like a nice little healthy oxidation of the body. It was nice. I didn't work myself too hard, so we'll see. I'll keep y'all updated on it. See if it burns me out, see if it doesn't, see if I get super sore, see if I don't, whatever. But yeah, I was kind of mentioning that as well. So anyway, if any of y'all want to do that, post below, and I'll talk to y'all later.